Haarlem, Netherlands, not to be confused with Harlem, New York, has witnessed a lot of history. Granted city status in 1245, it was a major North Sea trading port and a bustling manufacturing and commerce center. It produced everything from fine wool and silk to furniture and beer. Over the centuries, Haarlem has survived sieges, foreign occupations, wars, fires, and floods. During the 1600s, Haarlem became part of the Dutch Golden Age, home to the famous Dutch painter Frans Hals the Elder. From the 1630s until the present, Haarlem has become known for its tulips as a major trading center and site of bright, colorful tulip fields. But in 1942, Haarlem was occupied by the Nazis. At the time, Casper ran a watch shop on the corner of an alleyway and the main shopping street of Haarlem. His adult daughters, Betsy and Corrie, helped run the business, and soon the family started helping provide safe harbor for Jews and other underground refugees in a hiding place they had built upstairs. Their large social network in church charities and trade circles made the family quite successful in smuggling refugees until it was betrayed in February of 1944. Casper and his daughters were put into prison and he died there 2 weeks later. Corrie and Betsy were eventually sent to other concentration camps, ending up in a women's labor camp in Germany. There they held worship services after working hard every day. They used a Bible that they had managed to smuggle in. While they were imprisoned at Ravensbrück, Betsy's health deteriorated and she passed away in December of 1944. 2 weeks later, Corrie was released. She learned later on that her release was a result of a clerical error and that 1 week later, all the women in her age group were sent to the gas chambers. Well, Corrie returned home in what became known as the Hunger Winter, when starvation took the lives of almost 20,000 Dutch people. Food shortages were so bad that people would walk many miles to trade valuables for whatever food they could get. At times, that meant eating tulip bulbs. Still, Corrie opened her heart and her door to those who were in hiding and in need. At the same time, a young man named Fred Kaan was living in Haarlem. He had been born in 1929, a few years before the Great Depression of the Netherlands in the 30s. Fred watched 3 of his grandparents die of starvation during the occupation, and he witnessed his parents' deep involvement in the resistance movement. His family took in a number of refugees. He became a pacifist and began attending church in his teens. After the war, Fred attended college and seminary in England. He was ordained as a minister in 1955 in Wales. In 1963, he was called to be minister of the Pilgrim Church in Plymouth, England, and it was during this time in this congregation that he began to write hymns. Fred's hymns often address issues of peace and justice. He continued writing hymns until his death in 2009. Now, we don't know if Fred and Corrie ever crossed paths, but the Lord certainly worked through both of them throughout their lives. They used their talents and their voices to help others in many ways during and after World War II. Today's song was written by Fred Kaan, performed here by Patricia Hengen-Shields, Carl Hengen, Mark Carson, and myself. Let us talents and tongues employ reminds us to be Christ to others in the world, reaching out with kindness and giving of ourselves. Unified by Christ's teachings, we live to bless others in the world in word and deed. And following Jesus' call, we are sent out into a dark world to share life-giving, physical and spiritual bread. And finally, we are reassured that Jesus lives again and earth can breathe again. If Corrie ten Boom and Fred Kaan can be the hands and voice of Christ, then so can we. How is God calling you to feed the world today?